Hi, welcome. Today we're looking at Matthew chapter 20, and it's following on, I think, from yesterday at the end of 19, where Peter is asking Jesus about, in a sense, well, what do we get when we've given all to follow you? Then Jesus tells this parable, and it's another parable of the kingdom of heaven, but it's a bit different from the previous parables we've seen in Matthew 13. And so this parable is about the parable of the vineyard and the workers who are called into the vineyard. And I think there's some different levels here. So I think, obviously, in a sense, the vineyard represents the work of God and doing the work of God, which is a fruitful work. And there's a calling into that. There's a call. And so some have responded early, and there is a reward that comes with that. But through the day, others are called. So, first of all, I think it's important to realize that we each have a calling into the work of God, that there's no exclusions from that. There's a calling to come and be part of the fruitful work of God. And you can see this as well, where the, what's he called? Trying to see, kind of the owner of the vineyard goes out and invites people in. And he says, even the people at the last, he says, "Why do you stand here idle all day?" And these are the ones who are not yet working. They said, "Because no one has hired us." And he said to them, "Go into the vineyard too." And I think, again, for me, that just resonates that there's no reason for anyone to be standing idly around. But everyone is called into the work of the kingdom. Every Christian is called into the work of the kingdom. And so I hope you hear that call today. And we shouldn't be standing idly around. It's not a spectator sport in the kingdom. It's not something for others to do, but everyone to be a part of. And so they all come in and they all get their wages and they all get a denarius. Now, those who went in first are a bit annoyed by this and they're thinking, surely we should have got more because we worked more. And it seems like the owner is a bit miffed by this as well, because he says, well, this is what we agreed upon. This is what it's up to me if I want to give people more. And I think there's a real warning here for people in the ministry, in the kingdom, where they can resent what other people get. And sometimes you might feel that. You say, I've been in this church for X amount of years. I've been serving the Lord. And then this person comes along and they seem to receive this blessing from God. In the end, you've got to trust that God will give you exactly what you need, exactly what you've earned, in a sense, which again is hard, because what do we deserve? What have we earned? Really, it's nothing. But God will give us everything that we need. And so it's in trusting it that He is fair, He is just, and He will give what is right. Because in the end, those workers, they needed it just as much as the first worker. It wasn't really about how much they'd worked and earned, it was about how much they needed. And the Father will give us those things we need. And so, again, just a warning there to not begrudge the blessing that God gives to anyone else, because, for one, that builds up resentment in our own hearts and stops us receiving the blessing of God. And so, just to encourage you, when you see others, then bless them as well, encourage them, and just be grateful for the mercy that God has shown you as well, that you have been called to be part of His work, to come into the vineyard as well. It's a calling for all of us. So we all are called, and we will all receive exactly what we need from our Father in heaven, and we can be grateful for that.